For me, well, I'm a politicised disabled person. I don't agree with cripping up. And they offered me the part. I'm English. I didn't know how big American Horror Story was. I thought it was just a TV programme. And they offered me the part, and I was like, so tell me a bit more about it. And they're like, well, regular stars play the characters in each year, and it's different. I'm like, whoa, so, hold on a minute. So able-bodied people are going to be playing some of the freaks? Well, yeah. Well, I think I'm going to have to think about that for a while. Can I come back to you in 24 hours? And there was stunned silence on the other side of the phone. And I did, I put the phone down. I would have said no. But I called Ewan Marshall, Mandy Colleran, Lisa Hammond, various other notables in my life in British disability, and they were like, get a grip, mate. You know, come on. You know, this is, don't think about it as just this. Do it, shut up, do the work. If they like you, your part will get bigger, which it did. And, you know, there'll be a knock-on from that. However, as I told you earlier, or Chris, I've seen a picture of a little bit of movie of Bojangles, who's a very famous African-American tap dancer. And he's tapping away in the 30s, and behind him is a white guy, blacked up, doing black guy enjoying himself acting. It's really offensive, you know, hey! You know, really over the top minstrel shit. And I remember thinking, God, please never let me be Bojangles of disability, and hey, look who I turned into, you know. It's a transitionary moment, isn't it? The BBC will not employ an actor, a non-disabled actor to play an impairment part. You know, it's policy it does now. And it's not yet policy, you know, for most TV. But yes, it's a very strange journey that I've been on, and I very much, well, I'm done on freak shows now. I mean, I'm not going to do a bigger, better budget version of side shows than what American Horror Story that spends like $2 million an episode on. And you know, I have some misgivings about some of the stuff in that. The scene where I tell Jimmy the Lobster Boy that I suspect Elsa of having abducted the twins, and he smacks me around the face. I had a huge speech that went something like, you can slip on those gloves and you can go to the real world. I don't have that luxury. When I walk into a room, people can't pretend. And it's a long, long speech. And it was pretty much Matt, the real disabled actor, talking to the non-disabled actor. There was so many parallels. And they wrote it knowing that. They cut it out. And they didn't cut it out for political reasons. They cut it out because they wanted a longer, lingering shot on Jessica Lange, because she's the star and I'm a B player. And that's what happens. And the other thing that happens is your favourite scene always gets cut. You know, that's something I've learned in acting. The editor will always hammer your favourite bit. But yeah, it has been a weird old journey, and it's so strange to watch it like that. Thanks, David, because I've never done that normally at home. Yeah.
So, I watched episode 6, and I knew Born Free quite well. I teach it fairly often, as I said before, and it just struck me about the degree to which I was like, see, could I manage my sense of critique and dissatisfaction with these kind of able-bodied actors getting top billing, and you know, on episodes where at the beginning your role's incredibly small, you get like a couple words over the course of the first 3 episodes, and you know, I assume, of course, you have to decide, well, I accept the terms, you know, to one degree or another of American Horror Story. And then to end up in an episode like that, where you become this major player, that seems to me to be a phenomenal transformation and not an accident, you know, to one degree or another. You've said my role on American Horror Story kind of profoundly transformed the show in some way or other, and that seems to me something's really worth knowing. So yeah. I wonder if you could talk about that.
For sure. So there I was, alone in New Orleans, away from my wife, all my friends, thinking, excuse my expletives, but hey, you know, what the fuck have I let myself in for? And I'm standing on the sidelines of a depiction of my own fucking history, while non-disabled people get all the, you don't know what it's like to be a freak lines. It was driving me nuts. I was actually going mental. And I almost bailed. I actually almost bailed. And my good friends, again, said, whoa, get a grip, mate. You know, look at the long term. And all the people on funnily enough, I had a word with the woman that plays Grace, Grace Gummer, sorry, the woman that plays Penny. It's Grace Gummer, Meryl Streep's youngest daughter.
She looks like Meryl Streep.
Well, I know. she had some misgivings about the role that she was playing from a feminist point of view, because she's a good, strong feminist. And we had a bit of a bitch together, and she totally got my point. I'm surrounded by all these norms playing us, and she totally got it. And she said, and others did say, Matt, the structure under a Ryan Murphy production is very much, people who complain don't last long. Keep your head down, do the work. You're a really nice guy. You're an okay actor. If you stick with it, your part will get bigger. I didn't believe them, but I had no other choice, so I did. And then, amazingly, my part got bigger. I remember one day Ryan Murphy came up to me. He's a real maverick trickster. And he said to me, "Hello, lover boy," and walked off. I had no idea what that meant. But here's the thing, I did have misgivings about not being allowed to say the freak lines. But he wasn't interested in that. He's not interested in politics. He's not interested in politics. What he did was just cast me as a lover. Straightforward. No explanation. No contextualization. Just the straightforward lover. I actually got the role before we make the line, before we make love, I want you to see me as a man, not just a lover. I've got so much more to offer. And I don't know when a disabled person has ever been able to have that line in a mainstream drama. So for me, the payoff was worth it. And I'm older. I'm staunchly political. If I had my way, there would be some buildings that would still be blown up. But I'm older and wiser, and I know it ain't going to work. It ain't going to make everybody go, you know what? We should have access everywhere. Or if you blow up a building, that doesn't work like that. So I've learned that some, you lose some and you gain others. And, the incredible persuasive power of television, insofar as the way the fans of American Horror Story relate to me, is very much from that romanticised lover point of view. And that's just because I was put in that role on television. It, as a sideline, proved to me once and all that the construct of disability is utterly social and attitudinal. And it's transformed my life, obviously, in a way that I'm in, but I'm also on the sideline, kind of watching, like an out-of-body experience is going on with my career. No one's going to have everyone's like, what, Mat Fraser playing the Seal Boy? Yeah, I can see that's good casting. They can understand that. I think the test is going to be whether I ever get cast as a person, a father, a neighbour, what have you. That obviously will have short arms, but that's not why they're there. And that's a watch this space, I think. Funnily enough, just as that film ended, piece ended, I just got a call from Naomi Grossman, who plays the Pinhead Pepper, and I thought that was rather funny. But do I have to be very professional? I'm with allies. This is a disability arts event. However, we live in a world where comments get thrown out of context back online and people speak stuff. So I don't really feel at liberty to tell you how I fully felt about playing with non-disabled actors or playing people with developmental challenges. I'll say it was an interesting experience, and I'll leave it at that. Because I want to work for those people again, which makes me a whore. Welcome to acting.
Back to Born Free. Okay, let me ask that question in a different way then. In the United States, incredibly common for able-bodied actors to receive awards for playing disabled parts, because I suppose we can discuss what the reason for that is, but it strikes me as something because disability is seen like an existence like living on the moon, so far away, so difficult to inhabit and imagine. We reward the ability to do that to a significant degree. For a disabled actor like yourself, playing a part like Paul, the illustrated seal, is your own talent, your own skill, downplayed, diminished, because you're seen as inhabiting a role that is synonymous, more parallel to your own experience. How do you think that plays out in one direction or the other?
It's deliciously ironic, of course. But I think the moment when an audience hook into an actor, or an actor, but for me, actor is a word that's free of gender assignment, by the way, is when they show their universal humanity. They go through the trials and tribs that we all go through. Love being one of them, the pains associated with love and desire and honesty. And I got to do that in this, which means that I was transformed into being an actor. People saw me acting because they recognised the pain of love. That I did it, that I was able to finally be allowed to go on screen and show my universal humanity by playing a freak is, of course, ridiculous and wonderful and all those things all at the same time. But I think that's what it's about. I think that's why people have responded to me. That's why I started with 1,500 Twitter followers, about average for a London cabaret performer, and I now have 15,000. However, it does mean that I can't go, there are some, you know, most of my friends are political and up to one thing or another, and sometimes I like to promote what they're doing as well, and I have to be a bit more reticent about that because of my new fans. At some point, though, David, I am me, and at some point I'll get just pissed off at doing all that and just say what I think and lose 10,000 Twitter followers, you know. Like I did when I jumped for Coldplay in 2012, just for one summer of the Paralympics, right? And I suddenly got like 5,000 new followers. The next day, I was on tour with my wife, who's a burlesque striptease artist, and we have a cabaret show called The Freak and the Showgirl. And the next, I was trying to promote that while we were on. The next day I did a tweet that said, the freak woke up horny this morning and looked at the showgirl in bed next to him. What happened next was only legal because they were married. Lost 4,000 followers. So eventually that's going to happen again. But no, I mean, in the acting and stuff, yeah, I mean, I kind of always knew that it would take playing a freak. Deep down, I suspected that that would be what it would take for finally someone to give it. That, and you know, you can, I couldn't stand the concept of Artie on Glee. I found it unwatchable, that programme. It made me want to puke. Now, see, I've already said too much. But the man has moved on. You know, I love Dinklage in Nip Tuck, if anyone's seen that iconic episode when he was having an affair with Jodie Richardson. That was also by Ryan Murphy. The fact that he decided to just cast me as a lover is very much in his nature. I just very much, fingers crossed, we're coming up to the casting of the next series of American Horror Story, and I've very much got my fingers crossed that I might be afforded a role. I had a sort of mini fantasy, though, because he is a maverick devil. I imagined him saying, now, would you be prepared to play somebody with long arms for all your time there? And I remember thinking, yeah, I wonder if I'll get an award. I really, oh my God, thank you. I think I'd like to dedicate this performance to the long-armed community, etc., right? If I ever get that, please watch, because I will very much enjoy that acceptance speech about it. Probably won't, and that's fine. It was like the guy, and he's a good actor, and I haven't seen Transformation Chan's thingy thing, but when he said, I'd like to dedicate my performance to the trans community, it stuck in my throat a little bit. And we cast a trans actor.
So, your comment about wanting to play a character who is a person